Alright, so we just finished building this little amp bracket that I thought up in my head. So this is a carbon fiber piece. You guys can see how it bolts in. So this is what bolts into your bracket on your bike if you have an FXRT fairing kit. Now the reason why I made these little bolts or holes in the amp bracket, I'm gonna call it an amp bracket, is so I can install this by myself instead of juggling the bracket and the fairing and of course the LP6 bracket. So instead of juggling all three items by myself, I decided to go ahead and just permanently attach. Well, it's not permanent because you could always unscrew it and take it off, but yes, so you could loosen these up and the brackets, it'll stay in place with these bolts. So that's the thought process on this kit, on this amp bracket. You can also see I already made the holes for the amp itself as well. So the amp bolts up right here in this area, you guys can see. So this is some heavy duty stuff, 3 mil thick carbon fiber, high quality. Of course, I got it on sale. It was used. It had some damage up here on the right. You know, that doesn't matter to me because it's going to be underneath my fairing. So the amp fits nicely right here in this area. So instead of course, drilling and attaching it here, I could just put it here. It's more sturdy, it's more secure, and I'm not drilling more holes in my fairing. And on top of that, this is going to be you know, waterproof. It's not going to have the bolts where it could leak moisture and water, rain, and then, you know, fall into my bolts because they're going to be exposed right here in this area. So some benefits, of course, of making your own bracket. You guys could look at what this looks like. I'll probably take it out because I have to attach the amp. So the benefits, one, of course, it's attached to the bracket and it's attached to the mounting area. It's not attached to your fairing. You're not, you know, 2, you don't have to drill holes into your fairing. 3, this is fiberglass. This is carbon fiber. So this is more sturdier and more durable than your fiberglass. That's another benefit. 4, the placement and the fitment here is perfect. If you have an amp bigger than this clamping area right here, which is about 6 3/4, and it's probably by, what is that, 4 or 5 inches, you have more room on this clamp, on this bracket. Of course, you can make it wider. I mean, not too wide, but you could even make this probably about, what is that, maybe 9 inches. You could see that you could go a little bit wider than this area right here and it'll still fit. So, you know, that's another benefit. I already lost my place on where I am as far as the points, but of course, like I said, there's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit more flex up here. So vibration, imperfections of the road, this is going to be more sturdier, and it's going to be clamped in between the fairing and the actual bracket that holds this fairing. So there are some benefits, of course. So let's go ahead and just put this here. I'm not going to attach it right now, but you can see where this kind of goes, and I'll just match up the holes. So you can see that's how the bracket's gonna go. I'll have access to my channels and all these different little options that I have here if I wanted to. You can see the fitment in there is perfect. You know, you still have about maybe about an inch. So this just gives you, you know, more options. If this amp was thicker, there is no room in here. All right, there's not enough room for this amp. If it was just half an inch thicker, I wouldn't be able to fit this amp. So like I said, another positive of, you know, having this system or this bracket, you could also have a bigger amp. So you can see it's going to be attached right there as soon as I get these bolts in there, of course. And we still have clearance, you know, just some positives. And then, like I said, I could undo these bolts and not have to worry about you know, like I said, juggling the amp, the bracket, and the fairing at the same time. So yeah, that looks really good right there, guys. I mean, it's going to be attached, it's going to be rigid, and it's going to fit perfectly once I start, of course, wiring the amp and everything. So oh, and one more benefit on top of, you know, everything that I've already mentioned. This is carbon fiber. It's light. It doesn't, you know, it's not heavy. It's not a heavy piece, and it's really, really sturdy. Like I said, it's thick carbon fiber, and yeah, there's you know, there's plenty of benefits. So let's go ahead and take it out. You guys can take a look at it, and then you guys can probably decide if making your own bracket, you know, is an option for you, or just, you know, avoid this and attach it to the upper part of your fairing. All right, I already mounted this. I filmed this for TikTok. I forgot to film it for the YouTube channel, so I went ahead and put the fairing back over here. So we can see that the bracket is already installed. I have 5 bolts in this thing to kind of hold it in place while I install the fairing. This is the reason why I did this, is because I don't want to juggle the bracket, the fairing, and the bracket for the light, all 3 items at the same time. It's going to be difficult. I'm a one-person show, and I don't have any help. So yeah, that's the reason why I went ahead and I drilled that, and it just makes it easier for install. And if I decide to remove it, I'm not once again juggling 3 different items at the same time. I could pull this piece out with one hand. So you can see it's all connected together, the amp bracket and the fairing and the LP6 bracket. So let's go ahead and look at the speakers. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up. It doesn't look like it's gonna pick it up, but you can see the speakers are connected. Everything's pretty much connected except for, of course, the power, the remote, and the additional speakers. So everything's pretty much heat shrinked. Electrical tape, if you can see, this is the main power for the amp, the yellow wire. It has a 40 amp fuse in it. You see that right there. Now it's just a matter of managing all the wires. So I don't know if I'm going to have the included of the reason why I went with this. I believe I am going to have it on the YouTube, but same reasons. You know, you have a sturdier bracket. You could put a bigger amp. This will not fit in this area right here. This is it's too wide, and it's probably a little bit too thick for it to fit in here. So yeah, there's no room for the amp to fit. So if you're putting on a bigger amp in your FXRT fairing, then, you know, this is a good option. You know, just go ahead, make a little bracket. I made it out of carbon fiber. You guys know the benefits. It's strong and it's light. It's also, you know, weatherproof. It's not going to rust. It's not going to do any of that stuff. You know, it's a solid piece. And of course, this area of the fairing, because it's a dominator, it's also made out of carbon fiber. So there's, you know, it's pretty strong stuff. And I'm going to be very confident with the amp being in its place right here. So it's, like I said, one piece. So let's go ahead and install the fairing, and we'll finally be able to listen to some tunes.